Simon! Attention! Forward! March!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command Newport, welcome to the graduation ceremony for Officer Candidate School Class 16 TAC 21. Guests are encouraged to take photographs from the viewing area at any time during the ceremony, except during the playing of the national anthem. The order of events for today's ceremony is as follows. At 10:00, Captain Hazenberg, United States Navy, Commanding Officer of Officer Training Command Newport, and Captain Michael York, the guest of honor for today's ceremony, will arrive. Guests will be asked to rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and invocation. The Commanding Officer and guest of honor will address the graduating class and administer the oath of office. The graduates will then be recognized through the presentation of their commission by the Commanding Officer and the guest of honor. Guests will be asked to rise for the playing of the service songs and the final dismissal. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation. Officer Training Command Newport, arriving. Navy Supply Corps School, arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Butts will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, you have fashioned and created us as a people and called us as a nation to a place of trust and leadership in the world. We honor this day our newest naval officers and we ask for your special blessing upon them as they embark on their journey into the fleet. Father, today our hearts rejoice, and the day these graduates have dreamed of has finally arrived. So many are proud of their achievements. However, we are mindful that our achievements are possible only through the life you have given us, through the parents who have loved and nourished us, through the host of peers and friends along life's way who encouraged us, and those here at Officer Training Command who guided and molded each life, developing them into our nation's newest naval leaders. No one person is an island, and none are perfect, and each is a witness to your watchful care and forgiving grace. With every accomplishment and privilege came added responsibility, and each one of these officers stands here today accepting of the duty that our nation has entrusted to them. Bless all those who've stood by these we honor, and give them an extra portion of your love. Watch over and protect them as they head off to their new commands. And today they stand on the shoulders of the greatest naval leaders of history, who've inspired generations to fight for the freedoms that make our country great. Give them the strength and courage to carry on that legacy. Be with us today and forever. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Mark Hazenberg, Officer Training Command, Newport.
Distinguished guests, OTC and staff, family members and friends who are joining us both in person and virtually, and most importantly, soon-to-be commissioned officers of Class 16 TAC 2-1, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I am excited to welcome 89 newest ensigns into one of the most prestigious, challenging, and rewarding careers in our nation, that of a naval officer. To family and friends joining us today, I applaud you for the great work you have done preparing these impressive young leaders prior to their arrival here. Thank you for the support you have given them. It has enabled them to make the sound choices they have made, and we are grateful to these graduates for their choice to serve. We are grateful to you for your continued support. To the graduates, as Commanding Officer of Officer Training Command Newport, I am proud of all of you. You all had many other options in volunteering to serve your country, yet you chose this path. I thank you for your patriotism and your willingness to serve. I can assure you that a life of service holds many rewards and will bring you great fulfillment. You completed rigorous military, academic, and physical training. You overcame obstacles. Nothing was handed to you these past 13 weeks except opportunity. Opportunity to make something more of yourself, to learn, to grow, and to lead. And you seized that opportunity. You embraced it. And today you reap its rewards. I congratulate each and every one of you for that significant and memorable achievement. It's now time to embrace a new opportunity, to lead sailors in the fleet. In the years ahead, your knowledge and leadership skills will be tested often. You will be standing watch and working alongside fellow officers and sailors around the world and around the clock. Know that you are going to do significant and meaningful work for our country. The nation and the Navy expect the best from you. The highest standards of personal and professional conduct, excellence in leadership, and a strict adherence to the Navy's core values, honor, courage, and commitment. I urge you to continue to uphold the highest standards of excellence and integrity. Character matters. As writer George Eliot once said, character is destiny. Your choices in life will determine where you end up. Work hard. Learn the warfare and professional skills of your designator. Strive to be the best and give your country your best efforts, because nothing else will suffice. In closing, I applaud your accomplishments and perseverance. Each of you are about to embark upon a great adventure, an adventure in which I hope you find both professional success and personal fulfillment. It will be unlike any other job you have ever had or will ever have. And regardless of how long you serve our nation, it will most assuredly be a time in your life upon which you will look back with much pride and satisfaction. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I wish you fair winds and following seas. It is my honor and privilege this morning to introduce to you our guest speaker, Captain Michael York, Commanding Officer of Navy Supply Corps School. A graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Ocean Engineering, he also holds a Master's degree in Operations Research from the Naval Postgraduate School. He's also a graduate of the Darden School of Business, University of Virginia, and the Wharton School of Business, University of Pennsylvania Executive Education Programs. He has served on several afloat commands over his career that include the USS Thatch, FFG 43, and USS Gary, FFG 51. He was a supply officer on board the USS Harry S. Truman. His shore assignments include numerous tours at commands essential to supplying our fleet and keeping our Navy operating at sea. As the commanding officer of Navy Supply Corps School, his team is dedicated to providing students with a personal and professional foundation for success as supply officers in our fleet. His leadership is absolutely essential to the continued success of the world's greatest Navy, and we are truly fortunate to have him here with us today to share some thoughts with the Navy's 89 newest ensigns. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest of honor today, Captain Michael York.
Thank you, Captain Heisenberg, and good morning, everyone. It is certainly a great day to be in Newport today, the foundry for the Navy's Officer Corps, to celebrate the graduation of Officer Candidate School Class 16 TAC 21 and commission these motivated men and women as naval officers. Thank you to Chaplain Butts and the Navy Band Northeast for adding grace and fanfare to today's ceremony. And most importantly, welcome to the friends and family members in attendance today. Grandparents, moms, dads, spouses, brothers, sisters, sons and daughters, significant others, friends, your support for these bright and enthusiastic men and women seated before us guided them to this day and will continue to have a tremendous impact on them as they begin their Navy journey. The mission of OCS is to morally, mentally, and physically develop future leaders of character and competence, imbuing them with the highest ideals of honor, courage, and commitment in order to serve as professional naval officers worthy of special trust and confidence. To the staff of Officer Candidate School, thank you for your dedication to this very important mission. Every day, our Navy depends on officers to perform their duties with skill and integrity in the crucible of sea duty where complexity and pressure are the norm. Because of your hard work over the last 13 weeks, the men and women we commissioned today are absolutely ready to do just that. To the men and women of OCS Class 1621, congratulations on achieving this first of what will be many exciting milestones in your naval careers. As a class, you represent nearly every type of officer that our Navy has to offer. 13 different officer communities in total: surface warfare, submarine warfare, naval aviation, information professional, special warfare, cryptologic warfare, just to name a few. And some of you are lucky enough to be Supply Corps officers and will come work for me just down the road here as of this afternoon, maybe. Above all, I want to thank you for answering the call to serve something bigger than yourselves. And for that, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so I was told to do that yesterday, and I didn't know what to expect, so nice job. On top of what you learned at OCS, I have 3 of my own reminders for you, and then a quick sea story, because we can't do one of these without a sea story. First, be ready to lead. In his book, thoughts of a philosophical fighter pilot, Medal of Honor recipient Vice Admiral James Stockdale wrote about leadership in this way. The essential quality of a leader is not lain in his chest-like grasp of issues and the options they portend, not in his style of management, not in his skill at processing information, but in his having the character, the heart, to deal spontaneously, honorably, and candidly with people. I encourage you to set the example from day one and lead by that example. There will be days when you wake up and don't feel like being in charge, that the responsibility is just too burdensome or the challenge is just too great. And it is in those moments when all eyes are on you that your sailors need your leadership the most. So pick yourself up by your bootstraps, put a smile on your face, and get the job done. Be ready to lead. Second, be ready to fight. Today our adversaries seek to compete with us in every domain, all over the world, all the time. Every leader is emphasizing this point, from the President of the United States all the way down to your future commanding officers. Don't pass up an opportunity to make sure you and your team are ready to fight in less than ideal conditions. You never know when you might be tested. Take the initiative. Don't wait for your boss to tell you the right thing to do. You will be serving on the front lines of this future fight, on board ships, submarines, and squadrons that will be in harm's way. Our Navy, your sailors, and the American people are counting on you. Be ready to fight. Third, be ready to win. As a leader in these unprecedented times, you will need to ensure your team's readiness and morale remains high when undoubtedly there will be days when you struggle with your own. Each of you have more training in your specific warfare areas to complete before your first assignment. But once you get there, have a bias for action. Fail fast, learn, and move on. Failure is not losing, it's learning. You won't always know what lies ahead, but I'm confident you have the tools to succeed. So be ready to win. And finally, I'd like to leave you with a personal story about my commissioning. I was in Annapolis this weekend for my 25th reunion with my classmates from the United States Naval Academy class of 1996. And I was reminded about a life lesson I got from my dad that day, May 24th, 1996, that has guided how I conduct myself as an officer ever since. And a little background, my dad was a Chief Petty Officer, retired from the Navy right after I started at the Naval Academy with 26 years of service in this Navy. And he came back for graduation and put his uniform back on for my graduation and commissioning ceremony. And during the ceremony, there was an opportunity for him to give me my first salute in an exchange of a coin by tradition. That's something that we had rehearsed and I had been thinking about for a very long time. So there I was, Ensign York, choker white uniform, looking real sharp, ensign shoulder boards, feeling pretty good about myself. My parents and I, my dad, my mom and I were walking around the yard, the campus later that day, and I saw a Marine Staff Sergeant that was part of the staff approaching me on the sidewalk. So here I was. This was in a mere matter of hours after getting commissioned. I get my first chance to do that first unrehearsed salute and exchange with another member of the military. He gives me a very crisp salute with a hearty "good afternoon, sir," and all I'm thinking about is not screwing this up. I don't want to trip over my own feet. I want to make sure I've got the salute administered correctly, and I do all of that, do the salute, we pass each other, but I didn't say anything back. So after we pass each other, my dad grabs my arm and he turns around and he gives me that look, right? That look that parents can give you when you know you've done something incorrect, right? It was true when I was 8 and it was true when I was 22. And he told me, he said, well, and I don't know if this was the chief counseling the junior officer, and you're going to get that when you get to your units, or if this was dad counseling his son. Probably a little bit of both. But he told me that you need to always greet the person that you're saluting. Whether you're a senior officer or not, that the salute is a sign of respect between two folks in the military, not an acknowledgement of one person's superiority over the other. And don't be so full of yourself that you forget to greet somebody in return. My dad taught me that humility that day. That day he taught me that humility is the most important trait in a leader, and I have been trying to emulate that ever since. I offer that story to you with the hope that you remember being an officer is a privilege and that character matters. I know you are eager and excited to join the fleet. Enjoy the ride. Pause every once in a while to soak it all in. Remember that the strength of our Navy lies in our shared experiences, our commitment to each other, and our appreciation for diversity. Begin your Navy journey with confidence that you have everything you need to be successful. Lean on what you've learned here and the relationships you've made. Be excited, trust your instincts, and take care of your people. Your leadership and actions will have a profound impact on your sailors, your command, and our Navy, only if you choose to make it so. Welcome to the fleet. Ready for the oath of office.
The graduating class will now receive the oath of office. Would all military personnel in uniform please come to the position of attention? Class 16 TAC 21, raise your right hand.
I state your name. Having been appointed an ensign in the United States Navy, do hereby accept such appointment. And do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The graduates assembled will now be recognized by the commanding officer for their achievements while undergoing training here at Officer Training Command Newport. Ensign Gu. Ensign Gu has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Cape St. George, CG-71 in Everett, Washington. Ensign Gu is a graduate of University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Ensign Kim. Ensign Kim has been designated an information professional officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Training Command in Dam Neck, Virginia. Ensign Kim is a graduate of Creighton University. Ensign Reynolds. Ensign Reynolds has been designated an aviation maintenance duty officer and will be assigned to VRM 40 in San Diego, California. Ensign Reynolds is a graduate of Brenau University. Ensign Ramirez Cooper. Ensign Ramirez Cooper has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Ramirez Cooper is a graduate of Oral Roberts University. Ensign Huell. Ensign Huell has been designated an aviation maintenance duty officer and will be assigned to HSC-5 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Huell is a graduate of American Military University. Ensign Hunter. Ensign Hunter has been designated a submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Hunter is a graduate of Valparaiso University. Ensign Jones. Ensign Jones has been designated a submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Jones is a graduate of University of Connecticut. Ensign Atis. Ensign Atis has been designated a supply officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Atis is a graduate of Duke University and North Carolina Central University. Ensign Babakanian. Ensign Babakanian has been designated a cryptologic warfare officer and will be assigned to Navy Information Operations Command Hawaii in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Babakanian is a graduate of University of Utah. Ensign Beatty. Ensign Beatty has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Beatty is a graduate of Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Ensign Bell. Ensign Bell has been designated a submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Bell is a graduate of Texas Tech University. Ensign Bell is a distinguished naval graduate. Ensign Bonner. Ensign Bonner has been designated a student naval aviator and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Bonner is a graduate of University of South Alabama. Ensign Breifogel. Ensign Breyfogle has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Breyfogle is a graduate of Hope College. Ensign Breyfogle is a Distinguished Naval Graduate. Ensign Brown. Ensign Brown has been designated a Civil Engineering Corps Officer and will be assigned to ROICC Travis in Fairfield, California. Ensign Brown is a graduate of Virginia Tech. Ensign Callahan. Ensign Callahan has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Callahan is a graduate of University of New Orleans. Ensign Casey. Ensign Casey has been designated an Intelligence Officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Training Command in Dam Neck, Virginia. Ensign Casey is a graduate of Purdue University Global. Ensign Curtis. Ensign Curtis has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Curtis is a graduate of Stevens Institute of Technology. Ensign De La Cruz. Ensign De La Cruz has been designated an Aviation Maintenance Duty Officer and will be assigned to VFA 147 in Lemoore, California. Ensign De La Cruz is a graduate of Ashford University. Ensign Dolce. Ensign Dolce has been designated an Aviation Maintenance Duty Officer and will be assigned to VFA 86 in Lemoore, California. Ensign Dolce is a graduate of St. John's University. Ensign Dolce is a Distinguished Naval Graduate. Ensign Dudick. Ensign Dudick has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer Nuclear and will be assigned to USS Steedham DDG-63 in San Diego, California. Ensign Dudick is a graduate of Washington University in St. Louis. Ensign Ellis. Ensign Ellis has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Ellis is a graduate of Murray State University. Ensign Franca. Ensign Franca has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Franca is a graduate of Wright State University. Ensign Gerald. Ensign Gerald has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Kearsarge LHD-3 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Gerald is a graduate of University of California, Irvine. Ensign Goldhahn. Ensign Goldhahn has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Goldhahn is a graduate of Montana State University, Bozeman. Ensign Gomez. Ensign Gomez has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer Nuclear and will be assigned to USS Hopper DDG-70 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Gomez is a graduate of University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Ensign Henschel. Ensign Henschel has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Henschel is a graduate of California State University, San Marcos. Ensign Kethledge. Ensign Kethledge has been designated a Cryptologic Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Fort Meade, Maryland and Fort Meade, Maryland. Ensign Kethledge is a graduate of University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Ensign Kitashima. Ensign Kitashima has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS New York LPD-21 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Kitashima is a graduate of Columbia University. Ensign Kavarik. Ensign Kavarik has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Kavarik is a graduate of Valparaiso University. Ensign Meckelson. Ensign Meckelson has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Meckelson is a graduate of Texas A&M University. Ensign Meckelson is a Distinguished Naval Graduate. Ensign Mitchell. Ensign Mitchell has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Mitchell is a graduate of Florida State University. Ensign Oon. Ensign Oon has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Oon is a graduate of Gonzaga University. Ensign Pelkey. Ensign Pelkey has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Pelkey is a graduate of University of Michigan. Ensign Pydad. Ensign Pydad has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Hopper DDG-70 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Pydad is a graduate of Washington State University. Ensign Porter. Ensign Porter has been designated a Cryptologic Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Navy Information Operations Command in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Porter is a graduate of Sam Houston State University. Ensign Rivera. Ensign Rivera has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Rivera is a graduate of California State University, Fullerton. Ensign Rodriguez. Ensign Rodriguez has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer Nuclear and will be assigned to USS Kearney DDG-64 in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Rodriguez is a graduate of University of Florida. Ensign Seitzinger. Ensign Seitzinger has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Seitzinger is a graduate of University of Oregon. Ensign Sheffield. Ensign Sheffield has been designated an Aviation Maintenance Duty Officer and will be assigned to HSC-25 in Yigo, Guam. Ensign Sheffield is a graduate of Florida State University. Ensign Sims. Ensign Sims has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Sims is a graduate of Roberts Wesleyan College. Ensign Smith. Ensign Smith has been designated a submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Smith is a graduate of University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Ensign Stanek. Ensign Stanek has been designated a surface warfare officer and will be assigned to USS Cape St. George CG-71 in Everett, Washington. Ensign Stanek is a graduate of Bridgewater College. Ensign Stevens. Ensign Stevens has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Stevens is a graduate of the University of Florida. Ensign Stratman. Ensign Stratman has been designated a submarine warfare officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Stratman is a graduate of Valparaiso University. Ensign Watson. Ensign Watson has been designated a student naval flight officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Watson is a graduate of University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Ensign Weeks. Ensign Weeks has been designated an Information Professional Officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Training Command in Damnack, Virginia. Ensign Weeks is a graduate of Stony Brook University and New York University. Ensign Wise. Ensign Wise has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Wise is a graduate of North Dakota State University. Ensign Wilhite. Ensign Wilhite has been designated Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Wilhite is a graduate of Murray State University. Ensign Wilkinson. Ensign Wilkinson has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Wilkinson is a graduate of North Carolina State University. Ensign Arias. Ensign Arias has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Wasp LHD-1 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Arias is a graduate of the University of Maryland, College Park. Ensign Bobengo. Ensign Bobengo has been designated an Explosive Ordnance Disposal Officer. Ensign Bobengo is a graduate of University of Central Florida. Ensign Bobengo is the recipient of the Chapel Clardy United States Marine Corps Physical Fitness Award, presented to the candidate who earned the highest overall score in physical fitness while attending Officer Candidate School. Ensign Bobengo is a distinguished naval graduate. Ensign Custer. Ensign Custer has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Custer is a graduate of California State University, Sacramento. Ensign Della Croce. Ensign Della Croce has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Della Croce is a graduate of Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Ensign Della Croce is a distinguished naval graduate. Ensign Driscoll. Ensign Driscoll has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Frankie Peterson Jr., DDG-121 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Driscoll is a graduate of the University of Washington. Ensign Eccles. Ensign Eccles has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Eccles is a graduate of Washington State University in St. Louis. Ensign Nziwa Opala. Ensign Nziwa Opala has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Nziwa Opala is a graduate of University of Missouri, Columbia. Ensign Harris. Ensign Harris has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Harris is a graduate of Old Dominion University. Ensign Heckathorn. Ensign Heckathorn has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Heckathorn is a graduate of the University of West Florida. Ensign Herman. Ensign Herman has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Herman is a graduate of North Dakota State University. Ensign Herman is a distinguished naval graduate. Ensign Hyatt. Ensign Hyatt has been designated an Oceanography Officer and will be assigned to Naval Oceanography Mine Warfare Center in Stennis Space Center, Mississippi. Ensign Hyatt is a graduate of Hawaii Pacific University. Ensign Hong Pai-san. Ensign Hong Pai-san has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer on Nuclear and will be assigned to USS Ramage DDG-61 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Hong Pai-san is a graduate of West Virginia University. Ensign Jackson. Ensign Jackson has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Jackson is a graduate of Rutgers University. Ensign Jorgensen. Ensign Jorgensen has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Jorgensen is a graduate of Virginia Commonwealth University. Ensign Katsourovas. Ensign Katsourovas has been designated an Information Professional Officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Training Command in Damnack, Virginia. Ensign Katsourovas is a graduate of George Mason University. Ensign Lawrence. Ensign Lawrence has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Lawrence is a graduate of University of North Florida. Ensign Lee. Ensign Lee has been designated an Aviation Maintenance Duty Officer and will be assigned to VP 46 in Whidbey Island, Washington. Ensign Lee is a graduate of University of Washington, Seattle. Ensign Lee. Ensign Lee has been designated Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Lee is a graduate of University of California, Davis. Ensign Miller. Ensign Miller has been designated Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Miller is a graduate of SUNY College of Technology at Alfred. Ensign Morgan. Ensign Morgan has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Morgan is a graduate of East Carolina University. Ensign No. Ensign No has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign No is a graduate of Cornell University. Ensign Osuna. Ensign Osuna has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Osuna is a graduate of Eastern Washington University. Ensign Oviedo. Ensign Oviedo has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Oviedo is a graduate of University of Houston. Ensign Pascal. Ensign Pascal has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS New York LPD-21 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Pascal is a graduate of Middle Tennessee State University. Ensign Pottinger. Ensign Pottinger has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Pottinger is a graduate of University of Hawaii. Ensign Ragasoa. Ensign Ragasoa has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Lene H. Sutcliffe Higbee DDG-123 in San Diego, California. Ensign Ragasoa is a graduate of Ashford University. Ensign Ramirez. Ensign Ramirez has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Carl M. Levin DDG-120 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Ramirez is a graduate of University of Hawaii. Ensign Ray. Ensign Ray has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Ray is a graduate of Florida State University, Tallahassee. Ensign Reeves. Ensign Reeves has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Reeves is a graduate of the University of Oklahoma. Ensign Rodriguez. Ensign Rodriguez has been designated a Special Operations Officer. Ensign Rodriguez is a graduate of Cal State University, San Bernardino. Ensign Rodriguez is the recipient of the Commander Jackson Leavitt Leadership Award presented to the candidate chosen by their peers who most inspire his or her class and personifies the highest standards of personal example, sound management practice, and moral responsibility. Ensign Rofrano. Ensign Rofrano has been designated an Information Professional Officer and will be assigned to Information Warfare Training Command in Dam Neck, Virginia. Ensign Rofrano is a graduate of Syracuse University. Ensign Roy. Ensign Roy has been designated a Student Naval Flight Officer and will be assigned to Naval Air Training Command in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Roy is a graduate of East Carolina University. Ensign Sands. Ensign Sands has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Kidd DDG-100 in Everett, Washington. Ensign Sands is a graduate of University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Ensign Simonik. Ensign Simonik has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Simonik is a graduate of Johnson and Wales University. Ensign Smith. Ensign Smith has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Carl M. Levin DDG-120 in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Smith is a graduate of Middlebury College. Ensign Troyer. Ensign Troyer has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Troyer is a graduate of University of Florida. Ensign Troyer is a distinguished naval graduate and is the recipient of the Stephen B. Luce Academics Award, presented to the candidate that demonstrates the highest average in academics while attending Officer Candidate School, and is also the recipient of the Lieutenant Thomas Eady Award, presented to the candidate that earns the highest average for academics, military training, physical fitness at Officer Candidate School in honor of Lieutenant Thomas Eady, United States Navy, Congressional Medal Honor Awardee. Ensign Watts. Ensign Watts has been designated a Supply Officer and will be assigned to Naval Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Watts is a graduate of Liberty University. Ensign Warner. Ensign Warner has been designated a Surface Warfare Officer and will be assigned to USS Cape St. George at CG-71 in Everett, Washington. Ensign Warner is a graduate of the Excelsior College. Ensign Warner is a distinguished naval graduate. Ensign Wolf. Ensign Wolf has been designated a Submarine Warfare Officer and will be assigned to Naval Nuclear Power Training Command in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Wolf is a graduate of Harding University. Ensign Nichols. Ensign Nichols has been designated an Oceanography Officer and will be assigned to Naval Oceanography Processing Facility in Whidbey Island, Washington. Ensign Nichols is a graduate of Virginia Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the United States Navy's newest ensigns. We will now conclude the ceremony with the playing of the service songs and the final dismissal. Please remain in your places until after the graduating class has taken their class photo.
Season Sector 1! Dismiss!
On behalf of the Commanding Officer, Officer Training Command Newport, thank you for attending today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony. Please remember the only authorized visitor locations are Nimitz Field and K Hall.